I am Anil Kumar. Welcome to my YouTube channel and the website Global Math Institute. In this video, we have answer to a very important communication question, which is explain why ambiguous cases are only related with sine law and not with cosine law. So this is seen in test paper many times, and let us see how do we answer this particular question. Now, I'll have two different approaches to answer the question. One, we will use the graph of sine and cosine. And second, we will use the basic concept of when to apply sine law or cosine law. So using these two different concepts, we will actually answer this particular question. Perfect. So let's talk about the graph of sine and cosine. So as far as the sine and cosine functions are concerned, the sine function is kind of like this. So I've drawn one wave which represents one full circle, 360 degrees, right? So that is from 0 degree to 360 degrees. And for cosine, let me again sketch one for cosine. The cosine graph starts with maximum, and that is how it is, right? Of course, the values are between 1 and minus 1. Now, what you should appreciate here is that when we talk about a sine graph, we are actually talking about 4 different quadrants also. You see that? And same in the case of the cosine graph, right? So both graphs, one full circle means 4 different quadrants, right? So this is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, 3 and 4. You also know from the cos rule that cos is positive in quadrant 4, all are in quadrant 1, sine in 2, and tan in 3. Now, when we talk about solving triangle, let's say we need to solve triangle, means we have to find the sides given the angles and other combinations, right? So in a triangle, all sides are positive, right? All sides are of positive length, right? So when all sides are positive length, we are looking forward for possible angles. And what we are looking for is possible angles. Perfect. Now, as you can see here, that for sine law, if you apply, then for sine, if I draw a horizontal line representing the angle which we need to find, we get 2 solutions, right? Do you see that? These are the 2 solutions representing the values for theta and 180 degrees minus theta. From the symmetry, you can figure out, correct? And therefore, we do get 2 solutions from sine law, right? However, if I draw a line here, in that case, we have only one solution, correct? This is while we are considering angles from 0 to 180 degrees. Since a triangle can have that level of angle, right? So when we're talking about it, right? So that is because total is 180 degrees. So the maximum for any angle could be up to 180 degrees. And you see, while applying cosine, we only get one solution, but with sine, you can get two solutions. Is that correct? Perfect, right? So that is one way of explaining the things using sine and cosine graph, right? Now, let us look into the triangles in which we apply sine law and cosine law. So let me show you when do we apply sine law and when do we apply the cosine law. So as far as the sine law is concerned, it is applied when you have a combination of angle with opposite side. That is to say, you have this combination, right? Angle and the opposite side. You may be given more information about angle or a side. That is to say, you may be given, let's say, another side. Or the case could be you have the combination of angle, side, and another angle. Correct? So that is when you apply the sine law. And when do you apply the cosine law? Cosine law is applied when you're given all the three sides or you are given two sides and an angle, right? So you're given all the three sides. Now, if I give you all the three sides, you can form only one triangle, as you can see, right? What happens when I give you two sides and the angle? As soon as I give you two sides and an angle, the triangle is again confined to as shown. What is left for us is just to join the third side, correct? So you have a unique solution. So whenever you apply cosine law, you can see for yourself, in both the conditions, you have unique solution, right? How about in sine law? Well, in sine law, let us look into this case more closely. Now, in this particular case, let us say we are given side and an angle combination, right? And we are given this side. Now, that side could be causing ambiguous cases. Because if this side is smaller, we cannot form a triangle. If this side is equal to the altitude, we form one triangle. And if this side is in between the two values, then we form two triangles. Do you see that? So that is why we get ambiguous cases when the condition is for applying the sine law. You get the idea, right? So that is how we could explain that ambiguous cases only occur when the condition is for applying sine law. I hope that is absolutely clear. Feel free to write your comments, share your views. If you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. You can also learn from me by sending an email on the address given. Thanks for your time and all the best.